Welcome back to yet another episode of the Bunker Podcast. I am your host John, and as you can see, I've had a haircut. That's what is new with me. I've got my usual co-anchor Will. What's good with you today?
Not very much.
No news is good news though, right?
That's fine, yeah.
For sure. But today, we've got a very special guest, a very talented multi-instrumentalist. He is a DJ for Special Pockets Productions. That's the man. He goes by Special Pockets, but he's also got Lawman, which is a hard punk band. Liam Hunter, guys, thank you very much for coming on, my friend. We're very excited to have you here.
Thank you very much.
No worries, man. So I was checking out some of your stuff. Like, you cover such a broad range with your music. You really like to hit something that, touches everybody. You do lots of different things. You're multifaceted, multi-talented. Where does your story begin? Where did you grow up? What was life like for you growing up, I suppose? And what got you into music in the first place?
Okay. I grew up in Sheffield. The main thing that got me into music was obviously my dad was playing a lot of old records around. I only picked up a guitar because I saw Black Sabbath on a videotape, and then just got into it from there. Then it spiraled off, and then obviously I got really inspired by Dr. Dre for producing beats and paving your own way through that. So then hip hop came really open to me, and obviously through my dad as well, I was listening to rave music like Aphex Twin, old jungle records, from Niche as well. So obviously bass lines woven into my DNA, being from Sheffield, and that's where I picked up electronic. And then the two just seem to intertwine lately with my newest project, Power Drill, with Alistair Wayne, Noah Bevington and Jack Damien Bunny. Smashing that at the minute, hardcore punk style mixed with jungle.
That's something really different. Would you say that that's the more extreme end of what you do, and then what do you call it, the Special Pockets stuff? That showcases more your like lo-fi hip hop, boom bap kind of influences, like you said, Dr. Dre, West Coast hip hop, that kind of thing as well, grime. Like I said, very very like eclectic mix. Do you think like growing up with your dad playing lots of different stuff and just living in an environment growing up where you had all these different influences, that must have definitely like benefited you and helped you mould your sound to where it's at today, right?
I've always just found myself like a sponge for things, so I just absorbed all types of different culture that was going on, from things being played through Nokia speakers, LimeWire. That was the original name of our label as well, until it changed to Cloudmize Collective, and then just further on, just listening to everything, absorbing it and implementing it, which is why sampling techniques just my preferred way of making music. Just repurposing and recycling music almost.
I think that's the right like attitude as well, because like you're clearly like I got the vibe of you're kind of like an obsessive with it, like this really really is your passion, so like to spread yourself out, kind of be working in all these different genres. Like I do think that like that's the way forward. That is the future really, and you've got your eye on that goal. Was it always your goal to branch out and do different things, or did at one point in time you think maybe I'm better off operating in one genre? But what was that moment where you thought, I can do all this, I can do hard punk, I can do hip hop, I can do whatever I want really?
Just being a creature of pure impulse in that regard. I'd liked hip hop first, but then I just wanted to challenge myself more. So I found out through seeing people who are bassline produced, that's the hardest genre to make, so I just wanted to challenge myself. Going into drum from grime, drum and bass, hardcore, just want to prove to myself I can do it all and make things that are just people rate. But above all, it's just that throwing things at the wall, see what sticks, that improvisational spirit that I really want to tap into with these beats.
Yeah, I feel that, man. But you also produce for like other people as well, right? So talk to me a little bit about that. Does your approach to making someone else's song, producing for someone else, how does that differ from when you engage with your own work and your own artistry and stuff that you want to put out yourself, I suppose?
Sometimes it's just people who are around me. I make things before and then some other people take it and then spin their idea on it. So you'd send things out, someone's just in the room, and then they just go from there. So it's kind of nice that you start off with an initial beat and then someone will just come through and jump on it. just very in the moment type, instead of creating something solely for someone, because I just find that just it never works.
Yeah, I get that.
It's just different schools, isn't it? So yeah, it usually comes about that way when someone else just is listening with me, or like I say, like I'm doing for you later, when I'm just playing them out loud, and then someone who jumps in, like obviously Lester, he jumps in all the time, and yeah, we're constantly creating stuff together. He's in the circle, so
he's the kind of guy you probably have a good chemistry with, and like what comes with that, it's like it's that idea of it being like organic and original. Yeah, if you wait for the right moment and have the right people around you, most importantly, I feel like the end product is usually more organic and authentic at the end of it, and people buy into that more. Am I right?
Fully, yeah. I've got Leicester's Dan Odyssey from Birmingham as well, very talented grime MC too, that I'm looking to do more work with, and Siegfried Komiadashi from Sheffield, who's been going off in his own right. We've been trying to take a whack at a few more things as well, like ambient wise and spoken word, as well as beats on top. So it's just nice. The circle of friends just keeps growing, which is very nice. So I just can't really stop. As long as I've got arms, I'm still going to be producing.
And a spoken word as well, that's like another little like, are you just starting experimenting with that kind of stuff? Like, how are you finding moving in that world? Are you finding it different to the production side of things and the music aspect, or is there any cross-compatibility there?
Not so. More like my love of ambient music's just brought me there, so that's where all the Miramoto stuff comes from. Not wanting to just replicate beats and just getting more, building scenes, more or less, much like I do with my soundtrack work for Blue Shift Studios, and salute the lads.
Shout out to the boys.
Blue Shift Studios, yeah. Blue Shift Studios taking it on.
I was going to ask you a little bit about that in a minute, but first, I was curious about your like creative process. Again, we were talking about like you've got lots of different projects going on, but is the creative process towards your production based stuff, is that different to the punk and heavy metal stuff that you do, or is there any compatible skills, crossover skills, that kind of thing?
Well, punk and hip hop are the most two commonplace bedfellows, absolutely. If you look at Public Enemy, Beastie Boys, Horror, Show Me the Body, it always meets all the time, so I just find it's very simple to go back and forth between one and another. But it's just a state of mind. I don't know what's going to happen when I go and try and create a track. Obviously, aside from if I'm in a room with other band members putting a guitar on, then it's obvious what I'm going to be doing there. But yeah, I never find it too hard, because I'm just being authentic to who I am. This is my two cultures, grime, hip hop, and dubstep, and obviously hardcore punk. That's that's all my music taste. So it's just easy.
It's pretty cool that we live in a world where like nowadays, like those, because both of those things, like all music really, but like all these different influences are so easily accessible that you probably feel blessed to have grown up like being able to listen to old school grime from back in the day, and then like switch it up when you're feeling in a different mood and listen to some punk music, listen to some grunge, that kind of thing. Very
yes, but even back in before, it was just nice having stuff like blog spots where people just post things all the time, rare tapes that you just never find anywhere else. So that helped shape it a lot, just the thrill of the chase, because if you have everything at your fingertips, there's no real need to keep going and digging. But I kind of liked it before, where you'd find something just truly for you, and then I think that's just where I spun from, so that's what I'm trying to tap into again.
It's really original, man. Like, it's an original approach. Not a lot of people would think to combine those two ideas or try and do two separate things, but like, yeah, it's an interesting outlook. Keep following that, man. I think you'll get there, bro. You mentioned before about Blue Shift Studios. That's the more visual aspect of your work. So you do like all the music videos for like all of your own stuff.
I can't take full credit for that. That's
there's
Lawrence
a team of people behind you, but like, for sure. That's obviously something that you're proud of as well, and something that you put a lot of time and work into. Would you say, producing a high quality visual product is as important as the musical aspect for you, or are you as proud of delivering like a high quality product on that front? I guess
I'd say more the latter, 100%, because if I'm just creating things of quality, my stock rises up as well as everyone else. I just like it more. upping myself and just getting better than I ever was. Like, nothing I'm doing right now is on the level as I was when I first started, so I just want to keep one-upping myself. And like 10 years from now, I want to look back and go, when I was 25, I wasn't doing things half of this quality. So, like I said, with Blue Shift Studios, it's good to have people around you who push you, like Lauren Sellis, the founder, and people who see what you've got, kind of, what's more important, the soil that grows the flower itself, soil every time.
So, for sure.
My friends, always big me up in that way. If it wasn't for them during lockdown, essentially finding that I've got this in me and, flourishing it, not the man I am today. So that's the one advice I can give for people. Just get a good group of people around you and, swap, share ideas and always improve. And that's how we'll get here, especially with videos, with music, just leaving a stamp, really.
Yeah. Like your calling card to one another.
That's it.
That kind of, again, we touched on it in our interview with AC. He spoke quite a lot about having to receive he didn't call it like critique, but sort of like constructive like criticism from his peers and like that kind of deal, because like all of you have got the best interests of the music at heart, and it's coming from a positive place, and you all just want it to be the best it can be. And also like the people around you probably also see like your evolution and your growth along the way, your talent and your potential. And like I don't know, do you ever, like you spoke about that idea of evolving a moment ago and said, that your music now being different to what it was when you first came out, and you're already saying that at 25 about your music you were probably making at 19, 20, right? So think about where you could be in 5 years, 10 years. It's the only way is up. You got a good trajectory,
just
my
got
friend.
to keep pushing. Thank you, though. I mean, stand people like you guys willing to take a swing on me. So just want to say that to anyone who's ever backed me. I'll just keep repaying that infinitely.
It works both ways, man. Like you've come on here as well. We're just a little old channel over here, but like we elevate each other. It's like we said, no one can do any of this by themselves.
I appreciate it though. It's good. It's good to be back in touch with Callum as well. Like from the days of playing in food hall with the fly baggies and lawman and such to stepping up each time. So it's just very proud to see.
You like to put on like people around you as well. Like you don't, you don't give me the kind of vibe of the kind of guy who wants to, or maybe doesn't necessarily feel comfortable taking all the acclaim, even though like in a lot of ways I can see that like you're clearly a motivated guy. You might be like the engine room of like a lot of what you do, but you're always like straight there giving the rub to someone else. Like it's not just about you, and that's a very like selfless approach to this whole deal.
I always think that as well. Even artists who do take all on themselves, they've got to have influencing factors in their environment and the people around them. No one's an island in that regard. So I just like to give praise to it all the time because it's very evident where I come from and who supports it.
Music's it's seldom created by one person in one way completely.
You go and see a show, like everyone in that crowd will have been influenced by it, and then that influence, it's all just energy getting passed off, energy transfer. So that's why I like to just give direct notice to, what puts the fuel in the engine, like you say.
Like
right, man.
Yeah, because like again, it's like you said, it's all well and good you being the engine, but like you've got to have that influence from others to like keep that going, and like vice versa, you'll influence like other people around you. Talk to me about like some like younger artists that you've maybe worked with, or even just like younger guys that you see coming up at the moment that you're like, oh yeah, like I dig their stuff, I've got a lot of respect for them. What's your engagement with the young guys? How do you like to help them out? That kind of deal, that kind of stuff.
I'm usually a baby of the group, but I will say for one, the drummer of Power Drill, Alistair Wayne, is probably the brightest young prodigies I've ever seen. He can just play drums like an absolute titan. He can produce years beyond him, and there's just limitless potential to him, So I'm very proud to share a stage with him all the time. So if I say anything, put an eye on him. That's the main one for young people I can really vouch for, because like I'm only 4 years old. I think 3 years older than him, so kind of in that similar bracket.
And like, do you also get that thing of like you maybe see things in him that remind you of like yourself when you were younger, or is he? Do you admire him because he's different to you? I have that thing sometimes where I admire people because they represent something that I feel I could never be. I've got my strengths that I'm proud of, but in some ways, sometimes I'm jealous of people, but it's my natural reaction to being impressed by them, that kind of thing. Like, what kind of dynamic is it with you guys?
I'd say I'm fully unsure about the roads both walked, but I could just see the drive that we both have for this to make the best thing possible, you know, and just the relentless work ethic of just getting together and just practicing, repeating, rewriting things. If it takes not good, we'll do it 100 times over. Everyone in the band's got that attitude, and like I think that's just been instilled. So, you know, I just like the meticulous attention to detail he's got, and it really pushes me to get more, you know, more tapped in myself. So,
and like again, you're a very motivated kind of dude who's, you know, like I said, it's your obsession, it's your passion. So I imagine you've got to have other people around you who are like in that same mindset. Am I right?
100%, yeah, 100%. We've got it all in them. Starting the label of Lockdown Cloud Mice Collective, we just instilled all of the people I knew who were making music, and just kind of either falling on deaf ears or just no one knowing about it. So we all just got together and just had a kind of open ecosystem, sharing, trading tracks, and it's very nice to see quite a few of the people in there, you know, getting shine now and, you know, sprouting seeds.
Apes together strong.
Yeah, that's it.
That's literally it, man. You've spoken a lot about, like, you've been on your grind a lot recently, you've been getting back at it, you've been very motivated in the studio. Talk to me about some of your upcoming projects, some of your upcoming music, and where can people find it, I suppose?
There's quite a lot. The obvious avenues, of course, we've got Spotify, I can't recommend as well enough the Cloud Mice Collective Bandcamp, that gets updated quite frequently. Our YouTube channels are there too. We've got another single with Power Drill that should be coming out soon. That's just getting some touches from some pretty good producers that we're trying to get in touch with as well as the external shout. Very exciting gig on July 1st, won't fully confirm it yet, but keep your eyes on that.
We will do for sure.
As for myself, I hate to be the guy saying big things coming, obviously, but I've got a hard drive that's just full of projects, so I'm just trickling them down. I've got a D&B Gaffer EP coming out the 20th this month. That's the 3-track. It's my first foray into D&B. I'm very excited with that.
Nice.
Dope.
Also got a 12-track grime mixtape called Moving Morbid. That should be coming out next month.
Wow, and is that your beats with like lots of different artists, that kind of deal?
Mainly like 140 grime. You know,
awesome, like a throwback thing, like a throwback to like that kind of style.
Do it all the time. Never went really.
Do you want to tell us, like, any chance you could give us some clues as to some of the names that might be appearing on that tape? Some of the artists, some of the MCs.
None that's solely instrumental, but I'll be figuring things out as we go. Like I said, with my friend Steve.
I see. So it's very much a work in progress. You're putting it together, kind of.
It's just a problem. Just throwing things out for the public because I make it fast and I release it. So it's just gonna be sat on my hard drive for a while. But
it's one of those things though. Like, it's got to be right. You don't want to put out something that like you're not 100% satisfied with.
There's also a film soundtrack for my good friend George Ruff, Secret Village Productions. Their original film called Servant of Dust.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm very excited for everyone to see that in pictures. That's going to be going around a few independent film festivals. So
amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to be front and centre for that. I love doing film soundtracks.
It's like a different.
Really excited, bro.
That is really exciting. It's like a totally different angle and approach as well to what I imagine that you're used to. Is that embracing new challenges and different things like that? Is that something that motivates you?
Yeah, 100%. I've done film soundtracks before. Like, I've done a live film soundtrack for Metropolis back when I was 19. Me and my good friend Dan Bell from. We had a partnership called Furs, still going. It's kind of just dormant at the moment though. That was really fun. I've done it before for Alistair Richards as well. There's another director from around Matlock. He's got another one coming out. So yeah, I love it, film soundtracks, because like when I get a concept I can just run with something, visualising things more than that, you know. I was sitting with the director and then discussing what they want. And that ties in with Blue Shift as well. It's really audio direction there.
Sounds like a real like blank canvas kind of thing when you go in. Like, you've got to, again with films, it's like imagine watching A Nightmare on Elm Street. without the soundtrack, or Star Wars without the soundtrack. It's a great film, but it's all of a sudden like the music is what kind of adds so much suspense and tension to the scenes and gives it its character, really. Like, you are adding such an integral part to that film and people's watching experience.
This is it. It just all adds to me as well, doing sound design work in Blue Shift, you know, from just animating scenes themselves, you know, with sound, and then doing soundtrack parts in the background. A lot of use of the word sound, but
it's a good buzzword to use. We got a little bit of time left. I'll just I'll round it off on this. Thinking back to we touched on it earlier, like where you saw yourself, where you were at when you were younger, 19, 20, when you first you've probably been dabbling in music for a long time, but when you first like started coming out when you were a little bit younger, when you think of that guy now, what were your goals coming into the music industry back then, and would you say that you've achieved any of them now a few years deep, and like also what's the next stage now, and how do you hope to achieve that in the future, I guess?
My secret was just solely having an outlook for my ideas. You know, as far as industry goes, I don't know. I just don't really have any interest in entering fully. Rather just do things on my own terms and start fresh with all my comrades. That's pretty much it. And that young guy's still hopeful, but the older guy's got a much more reasonable sense and a plan instead of just going, it'll just happen. You know?
I get that.
Which is great to carry on that work ethic, but I kind of see things a bit more feasible now.
You've still got that drive, but it's you've got that experience now to know when to move, how to move, that kind of thing.
Who to trust, that type of thing, Whereas that young guy, believe it or not, that guy booking gigs down the pub, he'll definitely get me, big festival stage. It's ridiculous. I'd rather do things myself now, and just seeing a lot of dividends being paid, so more will be coming.
Brilliant.
Do you revel in that idea of like, or take pride in doing things and trying to be hands-on and doing everything yourself now? Do you feel as though, like, obviously, again, you couldn't do it all yourself, you need the right people around you, but like, equally, if you let everybody get on board, then you all of a sudden get the wrong influences, people who are going to slow you down or maybe even saturate your music and your style in a way. Do you kind of like enjoy the idea of being hands-on in that way, so you can sort of do what you really want to do, I suppose, and enact your vision?
I do like being a very practical person, mostly open to collaborations, as it always happens. It just takes the right person, just right chemistry. It's all it takes. I usually can do most of the lyric way, but then someone will just pick it and then either shoot it into the stratosphere, and that's all I want. So you get that with people like Siegfried, big time, and Less Than Prox as well, especially on the Tengu EP. I'm very proud of how that turned out, because that just started as beats and were never going to go anywhere, and then he just kind of thematically pieced four of them together. And just wrote, in my opinion, some of his best bars to date. Wow. And I think just got another underground classic, which is all I'm going to keep doing.
Nice.
So it's just going to be underappreciated, but it'll still be classics, mate, when I'm just gone.
Mate, the thing is, like, the people who like rock with that at the time, they will remember that. Do you know what I mean? It's about like making it resonate and having an impact with like the people that are there now that are engaged with it. And I feel as though if you take that attitude and you don't worry about the people who like it's not for them, like it's about the people who are engaging with it, you'll attract more people organically, and your fan base will grow with time if you take that attitude. I think you've got the right attitude towards it generally, man.
I'll pull up anywhere, like I did in Bristol on Turbo Island for Dirty Spread Collective when they had me down. I was just stood on a street corner, I was just playing nothing but originals, and eventually just drew crowds in. So it just carries. I like that. It's organic. So thanks to them for having me down, and I love Bristol. I'll be down again in a heartbeat.
It's a beautiful city, man. And that like live interaction like that with people. That word, like, I know there's social media these days, and like that's like a massive tool in artists' arsenal. But then the bread and butter, engaging with people in the streets, performing live, that kind of thing, engaging with people, selling CDs. I still think in many ways that's the best way to like garner an audience, because it's that person putting a name to a face, the personability aspect that comes with doing it that way. I feel as though people gravitate towards that, and maybe in a way that they wouldn't do if it's just, you know, a post online or something like that, you know?
You just got to think how many things you've seen on your phone in one day. Just like how much things you're taking
completely.
in. It's just stuff that resonates with you when you listen to it and then stays in the back of your head. So, things that lodge itself nicely in your brain. Like, I've listened to songs and it just stays there. Like, like most stuff from a Wub Club, for example. I'm sure they've played a couple up here before as well.
And I bet you seeing them in person gave you a greater appreciation, and people will feel like that about your music 100%. As well.
The people who support me, like Forster, who runs the Wub Club, you know, always backing visions that we have at Blue Shift, and, you know, giving us that creative freedom as well. This is good and inspiring for all aspects. You know, I get a good idea somewhere and I can just apply it everywhere else down the line. So yeah, salute the Wub Club.
Sure. And you're taking those skills and like you're making it compatible with like everything else you got going on and bringing it all together. It's exciting stuff, man. I really do think that you got a bright future. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on today,
thank you very much for having me, boys, and cheers for an excellent brew.
I've not even touched mine. I've been too busy chatting to this interesting guy over here.
Remind us where you can find you. Remind us where we can find you.
Instagram _pockets, that's my main thing where we're talking about everything, and then it can just rabbit hole from there if you click the link on there.
Nice.
Clouded Minds Collective, Bandcamp and YouTube, obviously. That's where to subscribe to, and Blue Shift Studios for any filming work, which is very booked up for the year, so we'll keep you very interested. But yeah, if you follow us on that main one, I'll just keep you posted on everything that's happening.
For sure, man. We'll
beautiful stuff.
Yeah, we'll make sure to put a link to all that in the description bit.
Legends. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
No danger.
Make sure to drop us a like and a subscribe if you haven't done already. But yeah, we've had a lot of fun today. It's been a blast, and we will catch you all on the next one. Peace out. See you in a bit.
Up the power drill.
Up the power drill.
Up the Blue Shift in a bit.